Hey guys, welcome back for another video. My name is Deja and today we're going to be announcing our giveaway for these arttx acrylic markers that we worked with in my last video and creating a candy cane landscape, candyland landscape with the markers that I'm going to be giving away, and also some others of my arttx favorites. I've been working with arttx for a while now, and I really also enjoyed their 60 set. It's a little bit of a different brush tip and it doesn't have like an ink well in the same way, but the way it dispenses color is just as juicy, so I really enjoyed using the both of them together. But of course, if you want to get your hands on either of these, you can check out the links below, or you can give your hand in another giveaway because I'll be doing another one with the SimTap arttx markers soon. I think I'm trying to schedule it into my calendar sometime at the end of March, maybe beginning of April. I'll definitely give you guys more of an update on that, but really excited to continue to work with them because I always enjoy exactly how color markers work, or should I say acrylic markers, and just like using them in my sketchbook. It's so simple. It makes art really easy for me and like not a hassle, which is something that would keep me from working on my art previously, like just thinking about everything I would need to do to set up. So acrylic markers really did change the game for me, and the arttx ones specifically, I've always really enjoyed working with. Now, I know I did say that we would be working on a landscape today, and we are, but I wanted to start with a little bit of a warm-up of just this portrait of Princess Lolly. I wanted it to kind of be like when you're playing the board game and you get there and you see the character and the land that they're at. So when I was making this, I kind of thought of Dolly Parton's, Dollywood, and figured that the lollipop like wood area would kind of fit into that well. So kind of going to do a little bit of a play on that later when I finish the actual landscape, but for now, just working with some blending, making sure that I'm very comfortable with it by the time that I start this landscape. Since landscapes are a little bit more new to me, it's nice to go in with just like the skills that you've already know that you've perfected, or not perfected, but like that you've worked on, and just letting those skills kind of guide you to a place of trusting yourself. Does that make sense? Like for me, landscapes are very new, so it's it's a little bit nerve-wracking when I start them because it's like, oh, what am I gonna do? I've never really done this. But when you just break it down into the skills you're actually gonna be working with, even though it's a new like kind of type of art, I was gonna say genre of art, like you're working with a different type of art, but you're still using skills that you've been working on for a long time now. So I like to remind myself of that and remind myself that like I know what I'm doing, I can trust my art, I can trust myself. And today that was through a little painting of Miss Lolly. So I decided to use the Princess Lolly that has like the gold headband, or it's really not a headband, it's a crown. Let me put some respect on her title because I think I also called her Miss Lolly earlier. Like she didn't freaking become this Nepo baby for the sake of being Princess Lolly out here. Let me put some respect on that. Princess Lolly has a few different variations where certain crowns are like really colorful with a bunch of different colored lollipops, and she has some crowns where they're just like pure gold. So I decided to use that for my inspiration, and kind of like reference for this Princess Lolly. Clearly it's not fully a reference of just like the original photo from the game, because I mean, look at those locks. Absolutely obsessed. As a curly girl myself, I had to incorporate just like the hair that I want to see in the world, you know, or at least like the hair I see when I look back in the mirror. That representation's kind of cool. So here we are doing my little curly hair princess Lolly. I'm really loving, you know, just the building up of layers of these color markers. For me, that's probably my favorite part of using acrylic markers, is being able to kind of play with the way that you build a color and almost getting not a fresh restart if you wanted it, but just like depending on how many layers you do and don't decide to build up, you can really decide a lot of how this is going to look and like the feel of the piece that you're creating, in comparison to, you know, just kind of, I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't know another good example. I'm really happy with using these and I don't need a reason for it. Now, as you can see, when you're working with this like curly hair texture, layering is your best friend. You want to, like, the way I kind of see it is in real life, when you look at somebody's hair, it's not just like a flat blob of hair. You see like layers upon layers of curls. So that would, of course, require layer upon layer of paint. Showing where like the light's hitting your curls, where there's shadows in your curls, like it doesn't need to be super complicated, but it does need to be considered and like just, I guess, thought of. Like, what do you see when you look at somebody and how do you want to kind of interpret that in your own art? After working on her crown, she is done and I feel officially warmed up and ready to start this landscape. The actual, you know, like 2025 goal of getting better at landscapes. I'm doing it, guys. I'm not just saying it. I'm doing it. It's very frustrating because very often I just want to work on like my little portraits, but I set a goal. We're tackling this goal together. Whatever your guys' goals are, please like comment them below. Let's help hold each other accountable to like our art goals this year. Because again, I am just super excited, not just to grow myself, but like truly for us all to grow together in like this crazy, crazy world. Like art is the only thing that can really, I don't know, kind of like set us free of everything that's going on and just give us the opportunity to truly express ourselves however we want to express ourselves and however we want to be seen. Like there's just no denying that through art. So join me on this journey. Let me know what your goals are in the comments, because I'd love to hear more about you guys and what you got going on. And I'd also, again, just love for us to be there for each other in our little art community and help each other succeed. Now, working on this river, I was really excited because I had the opportunity to work on a actually pretty similar looking river in my hoo-hoo video that I did a few weeks ago. So I felt like I had, you know, a little bit of some experience behind me to make me feel a little better about working on this. But I also like to remind myself to continue experimenting, continue trying like new things. Don't think that you just know how to do it because you've done it once or twice before and you really enjoyed that process. Like you never know if there's something else that you might like to add to your process more. So this time I'm actually trying to start off with the blue base and then putting out the ripples of light that I want to see with a yellow on top of it. And from there, I'll start actually building up with the colors that I actually plan on using throughout the rest of the river as I, you know, add my layers and such. But for now, again, I'm just adding those shadows as well as the highlights so that it's easier to map out as I put down all the purples and pinks. You'll start to notice that as I'm going back and forth with different colors onto the river, I'm, kind of building up on places that I've already put color down and just kind of redoing the same motions with different colors again and again. And I know it might feel wasteful sometimes to just continue to work and rework a certain area. And I could definitely agree with that to a point because sometimes I feel like it's not necessarily actually wanting to build up like a look or a style that's having you add layer upon layer, but it's more like, it's not perfect yet. Let me add another layer. That's not what I wanted. Let me add another layer. It's very easy to fall into that kind of mindset. But here, more than anything, like with the hair, I'm trying to think about all the ripples that you see when you look into moving water. And it's not as simple as like dark blue, light blue, white. And you could, of course, simplify it in that way in your art. And that's something that I had the option of doing. But for me, I wanted to kind of capture all of the different ripples of color that you see when light actually touches down onto that river. And then from there, actually draw out a little bit of what the clouds look like as they reflect from the sky onto the river, and simplify that a little bit more. But you guys experiment on your own. Figure out what you do and don't like in your process, how you like to create water. And I mean, if you think that you have a really great way that you like making water, or rendering water, should I say, let me know. Please comment below. I love to experiment with a bunch of different ways to create art. And I also really love the opportunity for artists to share with each other what works for them and what doesn't work for them so that we can all kind of work together on the best ways to create the little imaginary worlds in our head. So real quick, I'm actually going to be using a white acrylic marker so that I can start to clean up all the places where I accidentally got color on the lollipops or on the gumdrops. And I must say, this is probably one of the best white acrylic markers that I have ever used. Like, it dispenses such a good amount of pigment of white down, but it also dries in a way that you can layer this up. Like, look at the rocks right now, and you could tell where the color was still under there that I was trying to cover up, but in a way that's like so light. And I don't know. I like it for layering. I like it for covering up. It kind of just does what you need it to do depending on how many layers you kind of build up. But in the same breath, like, it doesn't take a lot of layers to build. I don't know. I could talk for days on arttx. I just love working with their products. I think they're really great, and like really user friendly and just like affordable as well. But actually that brings me to the giveaway. Let's talk about that, guys. In my last video, I asked you guys to comment and be sure that you're subscribing in order to enter to win this 36 count of acrylic markers from arttx. And we have a winner. I'm super excited to let Elizabeth Davis 5792 know that you have won these markers. I also do have a substitute ready to go if for whatever reason Elizabeth doesn't end up getting in contact with me. I'm super excited to be able to share this opportunity with whoever it is, because these really are some fun markers to work with in your sketchbook. They blend really well. They work really well with other arttx brand markers as well, and they always just give me a reason to want to do some art, to want to create. So I'm excited to share that opportunity with Elizabeth, and I hope that if any of you guys want the opportunity to also win another set of markers, that you come by for some of my later videos, because I have a lot set up for you guys within the next 2 months, and I'm super excited to share. But if you cannot wait, feel free to use the link in my bio and pick them up for yourself so that you can go ahead and get started on your art journey. But anywho, now that we've gone through the actual giveaway stuff, let's finish up this sketchbook page. this point, I'm done with a majority of the like major landscape pieces, and I'm now just working on the candy, like the lollipop flowers and the gumdrop rocks that are all around. So starting off with a base layer of color and then working with a darker shade as well as a lighter shade and the color white to create a juicy, sugary coating on each piece of candy. But before I could do that, of course, I have to actually work on the stems of these flowers because, you know, details. Guys, is it not crazy to see the lollipops on the left versus the lollipop that I'm currently working on, and like just adding the little details to make it look just that much, you know, yummier, juicier. I'm not like tooting my own horn. I'm not saying, "Oh, wow, look what I could do." But like when I look at this, I'm like, "Did I just do that?" I don't know if that's like similar for other people. I don't know. Maybe I need to humble myself a little bit and like, I don't know. I literally don't know if somebody could speak on this. I'm just like constantly surprised that like my hand can do that. Like it was a flat color and now it looks like something I literally would eat. And I am done. I had such a good time. I literally always do every time I work with these arttx markers, making the Lollywood sign, the arrow. It was a lot of fun and I'm really excited to continue working with them in the future and keep creating with you guys. Bye.